Hi. Hi, my beautiful friends, my fellow space blobs, sparkly beings, sensitive beings, all the forms that we take. I have a question for you as we prepare to enter into this Virgo new moon energetic. Do you believe at some deep level, is there a story in your body, in your mind, that your level of busyness keeps the world turning? That it keeps your heart pumping, that it keeps your value present? Because this new moon is challenging that story. This new moon is challenging everything we've learned about Virgo and pop astrology and telling us to do the exact opposite and activate Virgo's energetics the way that they innately are meant to be played out, which is to listen to your gut, to come back to your center, to focus on your wholeness and integrity and not abandoning parts of ourselves. And in doing that, to light up the fires of our intuitive knowing. This new moon will be extremely powerful for those of us who are sensitives, wanting to get back in touch with our intuition, get back in touch with kind of the meaning and the deeper storytelling of our lives, get back in touch with what is longing to be creatively expressed and dreamed up, and to get really, really honest about what our spirits are needing expression and how our bodies are needing to be respected in their intuitive guidance systems. And this new moon is ushering us into the eclipse energetics. While it is not an eclipse itself, it is the new moon that starts off moon cycles that will involve eclipses. We're going to have a full moon in Pisces lunar eclipse and a new moon in Libra solar eclipse coming up after this new moon. So this new moon is symbolically rich, very important for getting to know ourselves, reclaim our intuition, and get back in touch with what is calling us forward. Let us have a beautiful moment here with this new moon, prepare ourselves, and get into the magic of this Virgo season and this September. This new moon brings the sun and moon together at 11 degrees of Virgo around September 2nd into the 3rd. And there is so much energy right now moving through Virgo and then Pisces. And this axis of Virgo and Pisces is really important in living a life that feels like we're with ourselves. And the first thing that came to mind is something I mentioned in our Virgo season discussion. And I just want to bring it up here again. It's an idea that I heard from the writer and thinker and organizer Prentice Hemphill. And they say, a relaxed body is a powerful body. At its root, this Virgo new moon is asking us to come back to that idea. Virgo, in its greatest power, in its most expansive depth, is a sign related to our gut instinct, our nervous system knowing. And I really believe that when Virgo energy is activated in that way, people are very powerful. And I also believe that our modern culture has pushed a lot of this natural innate ability and sensitivity, especially for certain of us, highly sensitive beings with different systems, out of feeling those things. And has made it seem like Virgo is about nervousness and anxiety and attention to detail and control. That's the pop astrology story of Virgo. I think that's a very convenient story about a sign that is deeply tied to deep knowing, physical feedback, and the weaving together of spirit and body. And how when these two get to be on the same page, something really magical happens. So at its core, this new moon is a call to let yourself be yourself. Let yourself feel what you need to feel and know what you need to know? And some questions that came up for me just in thinking about this sun and moon meeting here in Virgo and taking a moment of quiet and reflection in the darkness of a new moon is, what in your environment is working for you? What makes you feel alive, at peace, clear? What is not? What feels like it's jangling you around and taking you out? What in your routines and atmospheres are working for you? What is not? What are you trying not to feel? What are you trying to control with busyness so that you don't have to feel? And what wants to speak instead? Really, this is a new moon it's just simply about actually noticing what is there, which sounds so simple and yet is maybe one of the most profound things we can do. And it might feel a little intimidating at first, but often once we sit down and we just feel and notice, it's no longer terrifying. So that's the first core. If there was one thing I'd want us to take away from this Virgo new moon, it's that a relaxed body is a powerful body, that your power lies in feeling like you're safe to be with yourself and to access that knowing. This new moon is also really symbolically important. It's kind of contextualizing this new moon in the concept of everything that's going on, because this new moon is happening right after Pluto's return to Capricorn, just a day or two before. And this is Pluto's final return to Capricorn for the rest of our lifetimes here as who we are in this moment. Pluto first entered Capricorn in 2008 and has been working with us ever since, really, with a couple of visits to Aquarius. And this final re-entrance into Capricorn from about September 1st until November 19th is a final farewell to that whole transit since 2008. And that's really big. That's really big energy to witness and feel, because it means processing emotions about how we've changed, all the versions of ourselves that maybe needed support, that maybe were lost along the way, all the ways we have changed and grown, all the lessons we have had to learn about ourselves are getting lit up during this new moon. I think there's this beautiful thing going on with Virgo being this sign of deep intuition and knowing, and the power of that sitting with this reflection period, with this time of wondering how we've changed, and to really witness and to know it. This new moon's also happening as Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn is sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, which is also a really interesting combination, because Neptune and Pisces, a lot of times we think about that as kind of this fanciful, floating in the clouds kind of energy, the illusion of things. However, Neptune in Pisces is also about the deep soul, the great ocean of existence, and how powerful feeling is. Sextiling Pluto in Capricorn often seen as the realist, the get down to business energy, however, is about deep inner parenting, finding stability, finding enough foundation to move through this physical, very intense world. This sextile going on during this new moon is about, what do you need to feel and witness? What do you need to know? What is needing knowing during this new moon? This is a really honest time, and a lot of us are going to be feeling a lot of deep clarity. Actually, I think there's going to be a lot of relief in this kind of moment where it just can just kind of acknowledge our preferences, our desires, how we've changed a little bit, how we've grown, what needs to be just released at this time, even though it's a new moon, which is about dreaming up new seeds, planting new seeds in the darkness of that midnight garden and allowing those seeds to be nourished. Part of that nourishment comes from releasing, from grieving, from mourning, and accepting all the versions of ourselves that have come and gone since 2008 and allowing that energy to move through. The final element that I wanted to really take a moment to focus on here during this new moon is that this new moon opens up our next eclipse season. It's not an eclipse itself. There's a calm to this new moon. It's like sitting on an ocean at night with the moon. Well, the moon wouldn't be rising, would it? We wouldn't be seeing it. The sun setting with the new moon right invisibly beside it. And we're sitting on very calm waters and we're just listening to the lapping of the water. It's a very calm moon, but it brings about eclipse energetics. Eclipse seasons are really potent. They help us kind of open up a next 6-month cycle, connect with ourselves, reflect on what's coming up. And we're going to have a full moon in Pisces. That's our next full moon lunar eclipse. And then that's going to be followed up with a new moon solar eclipse in Libra. It's a hybrid eclipse season. This is our first nod to the upcoming North Node in Pisces with this first full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The point being here that this eclipse season opening up here in this new moon is about a deep honesty and just enough quiet to hear it all. I think one of the things I really notice about this Virgo season as a whole, and this eclipse season coming up as well, is honesty, truth. That there's this quiet, centered honesty that's just ready to be heard. And that might sound really like practical, like just here's the hard things you need to know. Let's just cut to the truth. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. But I don't actually think that's what I mean when I'm saying that. Because knowing can come in forms of like, oh, this is what time to let go of this, time to release this. That can happen for sure. But knowing is also, I can do this thing. I can prioritize this creative vision. I can prioritize wanting to feel well in the spaces that I live in. I can prioritize wanting to find ways to feel my emotions safely and allow myself to process in ways that feel good. I can prioritize noticing what my body feels like and actually respecting that. I can notice where I am lacking respect for myself and therefore struggling to know how to treat myself. Like all these beautiful things are happening. And this eclipse season is going to be helping us process that and understand that and witness that. This eclipse season is also helping us close out the South Node in Libra, the North Node in Aries, helping us close out Pluto moving back through Capricorn. So there's larger things going on during this Virgo new moon. There's this big process going on well beyond Virgo season that has to do with these large waves of energy. But what I love about Virgo is it brings it home. Virgo is represented by the Hermit in tarot. And the Hermit is this wise figure on the top of a mountain with a lantern. And that figure with the lantern is saying, we're both on this journey together, but let's go light the way together. Let's take that walk into the unknown together. And we will learn together. And I think this new moon, it's beautiful to think about taking that lantern and getting curious about ourselves, witnessing ourselves, and knowing. This is a beautiful time for knowing, for really intuitively knowing what gifts are being asked and called out at this time. So it's a really, I'm getting full body shivers talking about it. There's a simplicity and a complexity all at the same time. I'm going to be doing an activation, a visualization for this Virgo new moon that's going to be about releasing the spell cast on us by culture, by society, but all those little moments that told us to shut down our intuitive knowing, shut down our physical feedback, our spiritual feedback, and allowing ourselves to hear it fully, it's going to just be a really supportive, soothing, quiet practice that allows us to get into that beautiful centered place that I keep talking about for this new moon. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that over on my Patreon. Join me, truly. Like the things that I'm creating there, they really come from my heart, and they really are designed to be loving, affordable practices and space that I can offer you. So I'd love to see you there. Let's see what cards are wanting to come out here. Queen of Wands, very interesting. There's such a confidence to Queen of Wands. I think it's fascinating to have it here in Virgo season. And we just finished up Leo season, which Queen of Wands is much more connected to naturally. But you know what Queen of Wands has is a confidence. I'm going to pull a couple more cards before we talk more in depth about that. And, I think true confidence, it comes from a self-trust, right? That we develop through those little moments where we hear ourselves and we actually listen to it, even though it can be really uncomfortable. King of Cups, also a very centered energy in feeling it all. Dynamic energy here at play. Like truly, what a pairing right now. Fire and water. And Five of Cups, which is a card, I think it came out, I don't remember what reading this came out in, but it came out in a recent reading as well in the last month. I love this so much. Beginnings and endings are very strong. Basically the rest of this year, the rest of 2024 into early 2025, beginnings and endings are just kind of, the waves are washing new energy through. So let's just go through this because there's so much here to investigate. So Queen of Wands is very confident. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants, and she's not ashamed of wanting it or wanting to pursue it or feeling valid to pursue it. I find this to be really interesting, connected to this idea of actually hearing our intuitive knowing and our physical feedback and getting to know our nervous systems and respecting all of that, because I think that's the foundation of any kind of brazen, I want this, I'm going to go express it and share it with the world. We have to have that, otherwise it feels very untenable. So I think this is a reminder that you have dreams and visions and creative visions that want to come to life, and that you're allowed to have them. And that building on this trust and listening into those quiet places is going to open those doors. So remember that, like, this is a really hopeful, beautiful time. And a lot of us are going to be having huge visionary downloads during this new moon. I don't think I've highlighted that enough in this chat, but it's definitely a part of it. And then we have King of Cups. And this really leads me back to that Piscean energetic that's at work right now with both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. They're getting activated during this Virgo season, during this Virgo new moon. And both of those placements are about the confidence to feel what we're feeling and let that be a guidance tool. King of Cups is very good at feeling and knowing that it's not going to topple his world, that he is safe to feel and safe to access his emotions, and that in doing that, he is going to be able to lead. So this is a reminder that feelings and emotions are going to be present during this new moon, and that is going to be fantastic information, just another confirmation of that. And then we have Five of Cups, and this to me really makes me think about this Pluto conversation we're having, because as Pluto moves back through Capricorn, as we move through this Virgo season and this eclipse season coming up, we are witnessing all the old versions of ourselves and grieving them. We're allowing, these emptied cups to be witnessed, just to witness them. Because sometimes we have these spilled cups and we've never taken the time to actually look at them and see them and feel them and hear them, because we just felt like we had to move on with life. This is a beautiful time to feel and release. This is also the turning point card, where this figure is about to turn toward the new. And you can almost physically feel the feedback around this kind of pivot point that's happening during this new moon and even this eclipse season and this Virgo season, where it's like Here's what's leaving, and here's what's opening up. And just feeling ourselves starting to turn to those new ingredients and starting to open it. And the doorway through which we do that is through feeling, is through noticing, and is through finding these moments of connection with our innate ability to be intuitive and knowing. So I just love the magic here. Can you feel it? Can you feel the crackling of that magic in the air during this Virgo season? Because I definitely can. It's not always comfortable, but it's exciting, it's interesting, and there's something happening there. So let me know, what are you feeling? What is a word you would describe this Virgo season and this kind of new moon energetic with? I would be really curious to hear how it's feeling physically for you, emotionally for you, psychically for you, all of it. There's so much quiet depth going on. I will be leading, like I said, that visualization for this new moon and leading us through this beautiful process. We're also so close to beginning our minor arcana journey and the rhythms of life that the minor arcana teaches us about, so that we can learn to work with our expansion and contraction, our release and resistance, all of these things that are very innate to living a human and spirit life. I'm very excited to do that work with you and go on that journey. So I'd love to see you on my Patreon, where I can really offer you that consistent support. I will also love seeing you here every time you subscribe or you like my work. It just means the world to me. So I really look forward to moving through this eclipse season with you. I hope you'll stick around for our next conversation. I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful Virgo new moon.